Well, good morning, everyone. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com, and welcome to Friday morning, the last trading day of the week. Now, on Friday mornings, I like to print off some weekly charts just to see what's going on, see if we've broken anything. And so far, that is not the case. So look at the VIX. It's an inside week for the VIX and still trading below the lower channel line. So no concern there from the options market. The S&P 500 is up ever so slightly on the week. A little more strength in the Nasdaq, just up 0.25%. A lot more strength in the Russell 2000, up a little over 0.5%. Then in the Canadian market, we're leading the North American markets this week, making a new high for the TSX. The energy sector is up over 6% on the week. That helps. What really helps is the financial sector came back yesterday, and we've got the financials up 1.28% for the week. Now, looking at the gold sector, we're having an inside week down 2.59%. Not a big move there. Semiconductors continue to move higher. They're off their intra-week high, but we're still up over 6% on the week. Looking at crude oil, we're up nearly 6% for crude oil this week. No change for gold. Inside week for the price of gold, down 1.4% on the week. Now, this morning, the futures look pretty similar to how they looked yesterday, but things changed dramatically after the market opened on Thursday. And here we are looking at the Dow slightly higher, while the NASDAQ is leading the markets lower on Friday morning. Now, here's something interesting. We've got commodities all down. They're down slightly this morning, but certainly there's no excitement in the commodity market on Friday morning. Looking at the VIX from Thursday's trading action, you can see we traded up to the upper channel line yesterday, then came right back down and closed lower on the day. So on Friday, we're looking for a close above 1689 to give us a new buy signal. Of course, the market's not going to overly react to a new buy signal on the VIX from these levels. Looking at Bitcoin, it continued to move lower. It's moving lower in the pre-market this morning. So we held the 6250 level going into the close. The low this morning is $60,187. So you can see there's some psychological support at the 60,000 level. If we start breaking down below that, then 56,250 would be our next target to the downside for Bitcoin. Now, we haven't been excited about Bitcoin all year. It's been a while since we've been above the flypaper channel. In January, it looked like we might take a run back up to the $100,000 level. We got very close and then pulled away. And so here we are making a lower low on Friday morning. Looking at the Bitcoin Bear ETFs, so we've had several opportunities to take some money off the table. So now what we're going to do is just let the remainder of our position ride and just see how high we can get Bitcoin to go. Of course, if it starts pulling back, we've got a ways to go before we actually generate a new daily sell signal for the Bitcoin Bear ETFs. Looking at the major index ETFs, starting off in Toronto, we made a new high yesterday for both the TSX 60 and the Vanguard Canada ETF. Looking at the financials, they came back and ran right back up to the recent high. Banks were up yesterday, back on a buy signal. So we got a lot of help yesterday from the financial sector. There is the Vanguard Total Market ETF in New York, up on the day, up a little over under 0.5%. 1.66% is how far the Dow moved yesterday. It made a new high on Thursday. We did not get a new high for the S&P 500 or for the NASDAQ on Thursday. The NASDAQ closed lower, just under 0.5% on the day. The Russell 2000 was up over 1.5% on the day. And then looking at the U.S. financials, they snapped back yesterday as well. We're back on a buy signal. I'm not interested in taking any new buy signals in the financials at this particular time. Banks also came back yesterday. They're still trading in the same range they've been in for a while, so there's really no new trend here, just an overreaction. Then semiconductors pulled back yesterday. They traded down to the upper channel line, but certainly didn't close in the channel. So for the SMH ETF, we're looking for a close on Friday below $589.16. Let's finish off looking at the tech giants, and we saw a lot of inside days on Thursday. A lot more volatility in the Dow on Thursday than the NASDAQ. So we've got the Magnificent 7 ETF on a sell signal. Apple having an inside day on Thursday, still on a buy signal here, no change. No change in trend for Advanced Micro Devices coming into Friday's trading action. Inside day on Thursday for Amazon, still on a sell signal. Broadcom was the big story yesterday. It gapped lower in the pre-market. We knew that was going to happen, and there it is, a sell signal for Broadcom on both sides of the border. Looking at Alphabet, it was up yesterday. It's down in the pre-market this morning, so not expecting a trend change on Friday. Meta came back yesterday. It's back on a buy signal. So Meta found support at the 593.75 level, came back up, still stuck to 625, and yesterday's move did not break out from the recent high that we had last week. So we'll be looking to see if that happens, and maybe it'll take another run at filling that open gap from back in April. Looking at Microsoft still on a buy signal here. Inside day on Thursday, a close below $425.53 in New York, or $29.98 in Toronto would give us a sell signal on Friday. Looking at NVIDIA, we certainly traded below the lower channel line yesterday, but came back during the day and closed higher on the day. We are trading lower in the pre-market this morning, so it closed below $214.67 in New York, or $48.24 in Toronto would give us a sell signal on Friday. Shopify still on a buy signal, still trading above the upper channel line. Tesla still on a sell signal here. Inside day on Thursday, so no change in trend for Tesla. Okay, folks, that is all for this morning's presentation. So far, it looks like we're going to get a mixed open on Friday. We do have some employment numbers, of course, coming out at 8:30 this morning, but the market has really not been too focused on any economic numbers recently. It all has to do with AI and data centers, and not a lot to do with actual, what's happening on Main Street. It's all about what's happening on Wall Street. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. If you're a member, I'll be back on Sunday. If you're not a member, we can meet back here on Monday morning.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.